How are skeletons always so calm? Because nothing gets under their skin. What's going on, YouTube? So we are back in the beautiful zone of Vardenfell because we are looking for an item today that is also exceptionally valuable. But if you watched our video on the 6th banner, or you just have played ESO, you probably heard of the 6th banner. You probably know its lore, a little bit about it, why it's so valuable. What if I told you there was another item that dropped from Vardenfell in a different place that had not been listed on the ESO PC market for 431 days due to how rare it is? And that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. And here it is. Mushroom Pulp Stinkhorn. You're probably like, this is one of the rarest items in the game, Jake? This is what you're trying to sell to me? And it's important to remember that sometimes it's not just what an item is, it's how rare it is. And because of the ways that you get this item, which we'll talk about here next, it has just become exceptionally rare. Not being listed for 431 days, and when you have an ESO completionist community and a housing community, and they know that there's items out there that exist that have not been listed for over a year on the market at all, people are going to clamor for it. And that's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Because this is an interesting one, because I don't know how much this is worth. Because how much is it worth? I don't know. The inflation alone, just between, the year that it was last listed and now, you really can't even gauge how much value it truthfully has. And that's what I think makes this mushroom so fascinating. So let's talk about now where you get this bad boy. Where does this bad boy drop? I can hear you wondering. And it comes from alchemy nodes in Vardenfell. So you get such a big area that you could potentially encompass. Some people have also hypothesized that you can get them from the beetles too, the shroom beetles, because they are calculated as alchemy drops. However, when you're dealing with items this rare, you're always going to have little theories as to what might also be able to drop this. And it's fascinating that an item like this comes from something like that. Essentially, you're getting mushroom from a mushroom. And that's why it's so rare. How many of you guys go to Vardenfell to pick up your raw materials? Not very many, because their areas to do so are not as condensed as other zones. For example, you have the Hollow City if you want to get resources, ingredients. And to be fair, for those of you who had to get the harpooners killed, you probably just have PTSD from picking up and getting that lead, Shadowfen, and thought, I'm never going to do that again. Never going to pick up resource nodes again. I'm done. Zenimax, why would you program a swamp with such little water? And so here's a map of Vardenfell and all little areas and things that you can loot. Unfortunately, there's not that many good maps of Vardenfell because, spoiler, it's not a great zone to pick up resources in. If you're wondering why, it's because there's just better zones to do it in. And there's a lot of hostile mobs that will attack you. It's very mountainous, very rocky. It's not something it's easy to see ahead of time if you're trying to find resource nodes. We'll talk a little bit about how to min-max your chances of getting these things here, but let's focus on the important pieces though first. This item is exceptionally rare. The bottom right corner, almost over in the zone that I popped my character over to, is probably your best area to go if you're looking. It's the most flat. There's a lot of water, which is generally really good for getting the alchemy nodes. There's not a whole lot of hostile mobs, so it's probably your best area for you to go to. But overall, it is going to be something that's going to be hard to get. Almost in making this video, it's not like where a lot of you guys ran, to get the 6th, house banner. A lot of you guys went immediately to the Forgotten Waste and we're trying to loot and find that bad boy. This is almost one where it's like, if you see it, you can recognize how rare it is, or if you're playing through Vardenfell and you loot some things, you go, wait a minute, isn't this thing exceptionally valuable? I almost feel like that's what we're really hoping for when we make these videos, because this would be an exceptionally hard thing for you to grind. But how, if you were looking for it, would be the optimal way for you to grind it. And that's where I think Plentiful Harvest as well as Master Gatherer are going to be helpful. Now, is this necessarily going to impact your chance of getting the item? Probably not, but it will make farming resources more profitable for you to do. Farming resources, especially alchemy ones, is actually not too bad when it comes to getting gold, getting resources per hour. However, when you're looking for an item that's worth so much gold, you really want to make sure that while you're farming it, you're doing something that's at least lukewarmly productive with your time. To make sure, obviously, the other big tip is going to be having things that speed you up. The number one thing that will speed you up is the Ring of the Wild Hunt, which honestly, I would encourage everyone to just carry on their inventory at any point because you never know when you might need it. 45% speed buff when you are not in combat, which hopefully is the majority of the time, and 15% when you are. You could even pair this with the speed boost traits to go along with it on your jewelry. You don't even really have to get too wacky with it. There is a speed cap. I don't know if they actually even tell us what it is. Somebody, if you know, put it in the comments below. What is the speed cap? However, you don't need to actually cap out your speed. You don't need to put this with like the jailbreaker stuff and all your champion points into speed and utilizing those things. You will hit the cap relatively quickly, but just consider things that make you go faster, because that is going to be the way where you can make this a little bit more easier on yourself. And the obvious one that will help you significantly in Vardenfell is Keen Eye 3. Now, obviously, if you can't get 3, 1 and 2 are also exceptionally helpful. But what this does, it will put a little beacon over your alchemy ingredients when you're near them. That way you know that what you are seeing is an alchemy ingredient and not just the developers putting a random something or other in the world. So it's exceptionally helpful for you guys to have this perk, especially if you are newer or when you're in zones like Vardenfell. They're just exceptionally bountiful with resources that are part of the world itself and not lootable items. And this is an example of what that beacon will look like for those of you who don't have it or have never used it before. And you can see that even as you get further away from it, you can still see that beacon. So you know what you're looking at is a resource node. This is the one for enchanting. It's not an alchemy ingredient, but you guys get the gist of it. And here you guys can see that those listings for it were not seen for a long time ago. In fact, if you look at the one that was 431 days ago, to find the next one, you got to go down to 599, then 620, 621, 634, and then it jumps down again to 1,231 days ago was its last listing. That is how rare this item is. And you can see this is the total amounts of listings it has ever had in its entirety of its lifetime. So that is how this item is so rare. It's exceptionally niche, but that is why we have this YouTube series, is to highlight fun niche items in the Elder Scrolls Online that if you truly want to go out and try to farm it and become a millionaire, multi-millionaire, potentially even a billionaire, depending on the items we get in this series, we'll be able to do so. So I want to just thank everyone for watching up to this point. This is actually going to kind of conclude the video for today. We are going to continue this series of rare, mysterious items, those that are furnishings, those that are recipes, to continue to highlight really cool items in ESO that need a little bit more love and could easily make you healthy profit if you were to find them. So thank you guys so much again. And as a reminder, we are doing our 3 giveaway drawings. All you have to do to enter is by leaving a like. A lot of you guys do. It's actually very helpful in the algorithm. I just want to thank you guys for those of you who do leave a like. Be subscribed. I think 42% of you guys are now subscribed, so we have hit the milestone. So let's see if we can get to 43. And the last one is all you have to do is comment a word. A word will be flashed upon the screen throughout one of the videos in the month. And as a spoiler, it's going to be in one of the future videos that come out in the next few days. If you were the first person to comment that word, you will win. So thank you guys so much again for watching, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
Better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.
Thank you guys for sticking around past the end. As kind of a fun little experiment, so when it comes to rare items, what interests you the most? Is it rare ones, valuable ones, ones with utilities, ones that don't have utility because it makes you go, what the heck? Why is that so profitable? It's a mushroom. So that's where I'm kind of curious from your guys' perspective, what is the most interesting, valuable items? Because I want to continue this series because I thought it was so cool to see you guys get the 6th banner. That was exceptionally cool to hear you guys getting it. You guys were making crazy profits when you were finding it because of how rare it was. And even if you didn't want to get hundreds of millions of gold and you wanted to get rid of it, you could still get tens of millions of gold from people who are just like, ooh, let me scoop this up real quick right now. So that was awesome. So let me know what your guys' opinions are in the comments below if you have the time, and always feel free to reach out to me anywhere else, Xbox, Discord, Band, Facebook, wherever, and I'll catch you guys there. Peace.